Hello everybody, and welcome to a slightly different video from me this week. Recently I have strained a muscle in my calf on my right leg, and basically it's quite painful, so I need to rest it up as much as I possibly can, and that has obviously prevented me from doing much travelling out and about with the camera. So as a change, I wanted to explain to you my 9 major lenses that I tend to use more often than not, and the reasons why I bought them. So we will kick off by just giving you a quick video of each lens in order. And there you have it, 9 lenses. I'm going to describe each one briefly to you in the same order that you saw them. I don't want this to be any kind of technical appraisal of the lenses. What I thought might be more useful is to explain why I use them and why I bought them in the first place. So we'll kick off with the widest angle lens that I own, and that is the Laowa 6mm f2. It's the 0D lens, which stands for zero distortion, and it's a beautiful lens, really well made, manual focus. There are no autofocusing features on this, but it will communicate with your camera and give you metadata through the electrical contacts on the back. And of course that means that you have got aperture control as well via the body. Really good, well made, all metal construction, love it. And the lens I owned before this was the Samyang 7.5, which is by itself a very good lens, but the amount of distortion that it gives is ridiculous by comparison to this one. You do still get a little bit of distortion with this, but it is minimal. And as you can see by the size of it, it fits very happily on, for example, you know, it wouldn't look out of place on the little Lumix GF1. it's still a compact combination mounted on a small camera body like that. No problem whatsoever. So that's the 6mm. I'll put some images that I've taken with all these lenses just to give you an idea. So for my urban architectural stuff and off-the-wall kind of weird things that I tend to photograph, very useful for me. Next up is a much more general purpose lens, and that is the Lumix 14mm 2.5 pancake lens. At the moment I do have a lens hood screwed to it. Tiny wee lens, and as you can probably imagine, it's perfect on the Lumix GF1 or indeed the Olympus Pen F. It really does suit any of these small mirrorless cameras extremely well of course as fitting very nicely on the EM1s that I own. Good quality little lens, autofocusing of course this time, and in the Micro Four Thirds format it's the equivalent to a 28mm wide angle, so it's really great for street shooting purposes. The 6mm is probably far too wide for that, but the 14mm is excellent. And next to that we have the 17mm f2.8 from Olympus, the Zuiko. I bought this one in silver specifically to use it in combination with the Pen F. I think those two go together extremely well, and yet again it's a nice compact lens. I suppose one of the things I'm a little bit wary of with this is the fact that when you power the camera on, the front element extends slightly, and I guess over time if I whack it against something that could cause issues, but in the main, you know, if you look after your stuff as I try to, don't mention the Olympus 1.8 Zuiko lens that I bounced the other week. So 17mm, more or less the same as a traditional 35mm, 34mm moderate wide-angle lens. Again, most useful for general purpose photography and street photography. What have we got next? Okay, we have the equivalent to a Nifty 50, which in my case is the Panasonic Lumix Leica 25mm f1.4, which are, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have paid the excess for, but I did get this basically with, what was it, I can't remember, but I got a Lumix body with this for free, basically. And then I sold that on. So I got this for a bargain price, to be honest with you. f1.4, so it's a fast lens. It's branded with Leica. It's a Japanese manufactured lens, I think, from memory. Made in Japan. Does that make a difference? It used to. Whether it does anymore is very debatable because the Chinese are bringing out some fantastic glass. But anyway, 25mm on the Micro Four Thirds means it's a 50mm standard lens equivalent for all you full frame guys out there and girls. But a cracking lens, really good build quality, quite a lot of heft to it. And we're starting with this lens to get to the point where it's a little bit cumbersome when you put it on a tiny Lumix GF1 or indeed the Pen F. I'm not saying that I wouldn't use it in combination with the Pen F, but suddenly it changes the ergonomics ever so slightly. So more often than not, I would use this on the EM1, either the Mark 1 or Mark 2. But a lovely lens. So going up in focal lengths, the next one we have is probably my second most underused lens, if I can use that expression, and that's the Olympus Zuiko 30mm f3.5 macro. I bought specifically for its macro capabilities, but of course it focuses to infinity, so it gives me a short telephoto for general purpose photography. It's not very fast. This gives more than life-size reproduction, 1¼ times life size. You do have to get extremely close, but nevertheless, it's a really useful little macro lens. And because for me, size and weight is of major concern, 30mm, it's tiny. I can use it on any of my camera bodies very happily. So the least used of my, if you like, modern lenses is this. This is the Camlan, the 50mm f1.1 manual focus, and this is the Mark 1 version, which everybody slates, saying that it's rubbish. And, you know, on a full-frame camera, which is what this, I think, is designed for, they may well be perfectly right. But because I'm using it on a Micro Four Thirds sensor, I'm only using the center of the imaging circle, and it's really pretty darn sharp. I don't have any complaints about it. Of course, when you're trying to manually focus a lens like this at f1.1, you definitely need to rely on your focus peaking and your magnify feature, assuming your camera has them, because otherwise it's an absolute nightmare. The depth of field is really razor thin, and of course, I mean, the closer you go, then the thinner it becomes. So yeah, it's a weighty lens as well, so to a great extent the same, it's not a criticism, but the same observation applies to this lens if I were to use it in combination with the GF1. You know, it becomes very front heavy, and the ergonomics of the combination are spoilt slightly. It's a heavy lens, best suited, in my opinion, whenever I use it on the EM1 bodies. You look at this lump of glass, and oh my goodness me, it's just, it's phenomenal. Lovely. f1.1 Camlan 50mm. And next, I guess, is probably a slightly oddball lens to most of you, and that is my 60mm 2.8 Sigma DN Art lens. Now, why did I buy a fixed telephoto lens? I purchased it specifically to make a small outfit for the Pen F. So I purchased this in combination with the 17mm, knowing that I've got the 25mm. So those three lenses give me my, if you like, my holy trinity of fixed prime lenses, specifically to use on my beloved Pen F. I really can't tell you how good a camera the Pen F is. It's marvelous. Downsides to this, the focusing ring, which is basically all of this section here, there is no grip on it whatsoever. It is brushed aluminium, and that leads to it being marked. You may have already noticed in the video section that I did that there are some scuffs on it. But, you know, worse things than that can happen. And the other thing to remember for anybody considering buying these, I think I did mention it in the original video when I gave you my opinions on this, they rattle when they are not powered on. If I were to fit this to the Pen F and turn it on, the rattle would stop. It's perfectly normal. It is the focusing motor which Sigma use. Do not worry if you buy one and it rattles. That's how it should be. Nice little lens, love it. And now I guess we come on to the two lenses which I use more than any other, one in particular, and that of course is the Olympus Zuiko 12-40 2.8 Pro lens, which I've not owned for that long, but my goodness me, I'm glad I bought it. Yes, I got it for a good price, and as you will know if you have been watching the channel, I I really didn't know for quite some time what to do with this lens's predecessor, which in my case was the 12-50, and that's actually filming this video now on the EM1. I decided to keep the 12-50. It's going to be a backup lens. Have I used it ever since owning this? The answer is definitely no, I haven't. This has become my go-to lens on the EM1. Would I use it on a GF1? No way, because it's too big and bulky. Would I use it on my Pen F? Again, probably no way, because it ruins the ergonomics, in my humble opinion, to be honest with you. But my goodness me, well put together lens, waterproofed, of course. Do they classify it as, I think, splash proof? But it does have a gasket around the back to keep water out from your camera sensor and everything. And yeah, fantastic lens. Everybody says the same thing about this, and you're not going to find me arguing. It's flexible, it's manageable, and what else can I say about it? Not very much. And then finally, the big boy of the set, and it's not really big at all, is it, when you look at it? This is the advantage with Micro Four Thirds. It is the Panasonic Lumix 100-300. Now, it's not the fastest lens in the world, but my goodness me, it gives me the reach that I need. 300mm, of course, on Micro Four Thirds is 600mm equivalent. And you can see for yourself that this is much more compact than any 600mm for a full frame or even APS-C camera. Again, I love the build quality. It's not all metal. It has inbuilt optical image stabilization, which works quite well with the Olympus cameras that I own. And the results it gives are, in my opinion anyway, more than good enough. I've not taken that many shots with it as a super long telephoto, but I'm looking forward to doing some more with it, God willing, when we get some decent weather in this country. So there you have it. That's my 9 lenses, which I use more or less constantly. Probably, in all honesty, the Camlan least of all, and second to that probably would be the Macro. So those two lenses there really get used less frequently than any of the other ones. But depending on what mood I'm in, what camera I want to take out, then one or more of these lenses will come out with me in the hold all. If I'm doing street photography, chances are it will be either GF1 with a 14mm or the Pen F with the 17mm. If I'm looking to take a little bit more weight outside with me and a bigger hold all, then the EM1 comes out with definitely the 12-40 and more than likely the 6mm Laowa. By all means, let me know in the comments what you think about this selection of lenses, and give me an idea of what sort of lenses you use and own. Of course, I have my legacy lenses, one of which is now dented. But in the main, these are the lenses which get used all the time, and I hope you have enjoyed this little exercise with me, and that you like some of the images that I've shown. Until the next time, when hopefully I will be out and about, if not on my travels, then doing the interview with the real camera company. But whatever happens, make sure you stay safe and well, and I'll see you all very soon. Enjoy your photography. Bye for now.